Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a short but really potent text that frames a simple choice not as just a preference, but as this profound conflict: our everyday excuses versus an absolute act of worship. And it all boils down to one single challenging question. So the source material, it doesn't ease you in. It starts with this incredibly direct, almost confrontational question. First, in its original Bengali, Tumi namaz poroni keno, which translates to, why didn't you pray? And that question isn't just an opener. It is the core challenge that the entire rest of the text is designed to answer for you. So, how does the text even begin to tackle that question? Well, first, it takes our reasons head on. This section is called Namaznia Shadharan Ojuhat, or Common Excuses About Namaz. It basically anticipates every possible justification we might have for not praying, and then it just challenges them one by one. Now, look at the technique the source is using here. It's a pretty brilliant rhetorical move, isn't it? It takes a very personal excuse, something like, I was sick, and right away holds it up against this figure of just monumental suffering, Prophet Ayub. Or it takes our stress about work and compares it to the massive responsibilities of Prophet Sulaiman's entire kingdom. The whole goal is to kind of shrink our personal excuses by stacking them up against these immense historical examples of faith under pressure. And of course, the implied answer to every single one of these questions is no. Okay, so after taking apart these common excuses, the text makes a pivot. It moves away from questioning our reasons and starts delivering its core, uncompromising verdict on what worship itself is. It calls this section Worship Beyond Excuses. And this right here is the central, absolute point of the entire text. It just states it plainly. No excuse for not praying will be accepted by Allah. From the perspective of this source, it's an absolute. There's just no room for negotiation, no gray area whatsoever. And to really hammer this point home, the source uses a pretty shocking extreme example. It says, the duty to pray is so absolute that you're required to do it even if you are drowning at sea. I mean, that's a powerful image, right? It's designed to close any possible loophole you could ever imagine. So why? Why such an absolute non-negotiable rule? Well, the source offers this really beautiful and profound concept to explain the logic. It's called the debt of breath. And the thinking is simple. Every single breath we take is a gift. And because it's a gift, it creates this debt of gratitude to God. So in this view, prayer isn't just some ritual. It's the most fundamental way we can repay the gift of life itself. So if the duty is absolute, then what are the stakes? The text now shifts gears from the why to the what happens if you don't. It starts outlining the very specific consequences for neglecting this core obligation. And this isn't some abstract warning. The source makes the consequences frighteningly specific. It all starts with the penalty for missing just a single prayer without what it considers a valid reason. The consequence that's described is staggering. The source says that missing one prayer results in loko loko bochor, which literally means millions upon millions of years in hell. It's a number so huge it's almost impossible to really wrap your head around, and that's the point. It's meant to underscore the absolute gravity of the act. But what does that punishment even feel like? To make this idea feel more real, the source draws this stark comparison between the fire we know here on Earth and the fire of hell, which it describes as something far, far more intense. The text even puts a number to it. It says hellfire is 70 times more intense than any fire in our world. And when you see it on a chart like this, it really drives home the sheer scale of the warning. The source isn't just describing a punishment. It's trying to communicate an experience that is fundamentally beyond anything we can comprehend on Earth. But what's really interesting is that the source doesn't end on that warning. It ends with a prayer. It shifts from fear to hope, saying, may Allah grant us all the ability to pray 5 times a day regularly. Amen. It's this final pivot that brings the whole focus back to personal devotion. The text's whole powerful argument, from confronting our excuses to showing these dire consequences, is really designed to lead its reader to this exact spot, a place of sincere hope and commitment.